Warning, the Renegade Recruiter is not for the soft, timid, or faint-hearted. If you need permission or seek approval from your mother, spouse, mates in the pub, or anyone else for that matter, this really isn't for you. If any of what you've heard puts you off in the slightest, I advise you not to listen any further. You've been warned. Prepare yourself for the no bullshit, zero fluff. Quick, dirty, and uncensored secrets for any serious recruitment, staffing, and search business owner who wants to earn more money with less work and fewer headaches, without having to kiss ass or bend over backwards to please anyone. He's a relentless and fearless renegade who will stop at nothing to reveal the harsh, unforgiving, and brutal truth about what it really takes to succeed in this business. He's a guy people love to hate and hate to love. It's your host, Terry Edwards. The Renegade Recruiter is unleashed.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Renegade Recruiter Unleashed podcast. You're listening to Drew and Terry Edwards. Terry, how are you?
I'm fantastic, Drew. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you. I'm very good. Again, just a reminder, if you're listening on iTunes right now, remember to subscribe and leave a review, and also spread the message to anyone that you know who you think can benefit from this show. And if you're watching on Facebook, you're listening anywhere else, again, just remember to leave a comment, share it, spread the word. Let us know if you're enjoying the show. Let us know what you want to hear more of, what you want to hear less of. Just give us your feedback. This is probably the one area of the business where we do actually appreciate your feedback that you give us. So remember to subscribe and leave a review. In this episode, what we're going to be looking at is something that I've found that our seven-figure clients, or that our most successful clients, know, and the behaviour that they have compared to the ones who don't make it to that level. And what's sort of inspired this episode is like a few years back, or about 12 months ago now actually, we in our business, right, we wanted to do more events, or we hadn't at the time of this story, we hadn't run any events, right, and we wanted to run live events for recruitment and search firm owners because we had a lot of good content, and we thought it would be a good way to promote our business, get some more clients. And so something we're really interested in doing, and in order to sort of do that, because we've never done it before, we sort of went out and tried to learn from people who have done it before, and came across this guy called Nick James. He's based in the UK, and he helps people put on events, and he had an event about putting on events, if that makes sense. And so I bought a ticket to his event, and I can't remember what date it was, but on the day that the event was meant to be, or a week before, something came up that I couldn't go. I couldn't make it to the event, so I've called them and told them why, like, I can't actually make this date. Do you have any other dates in the future? And luckily for me, they had another date a year down the line, so I sort of deferred my ticket for a year to the next year's event. But in between the time of sort of the original date that I had intended to go and the sort of the year down the line, we'd ran two of our own events, and they went really well, both really profitable. Everyone that came loved them. Like, more than a few people said that it's the best event they've ever been to for recruitment and search firm owners. So they went really well. They're really successful, and something that we, at the point, we now felt confident doing successfully over and over again, and it sort of became a core model for our business, doing live events. So when the deferred date came round, I was in a different space to when I was originally when I bought the ticket. So when I bought the ticket, I knew nothing about doing events. It had like an element of fear of actually taking a step and doing the event, compared to when now, just before the event was taking place, we'd done two events, they went really well. I thought I knew not everything there was to know, but I was confident about doing events. So we were sort of and ahhing about whether we should actually go to the event about doing events, right? Because we'd already sort of got what we needed from it, learn from doing rather than from learning from somebody else. And again, eventually sort of we decided that I would go. But even on the day of the event, I was sort of sat in the front of the room. So I got there early, went right to the front of the room, and I was sort of sat there before it started thinking I'd rather not be here. I had a big list of things to do, big to-do list. My girlfriend had just had a baby as well, so it was like there's so many things that I could have been doing outside of the room that I thought at the time would have been a better use of time. And so I was, sort of getting in a negative space about the whole thing, sort of thinking I'm not going to learn anything. It's pointless me being here, and this is a waste of time. And in my head, I was already sort of planning to leave early, planning to leave probably after at lunch and go back to the office. But when the speaker Nick James came on, one of the first things he said in the morning session was, he asked a question to the audience. He said, "Who do you think finds more pearls, a pearl diver or a bus driver?" And everyone's sort of looking around thinking, what's he talking about? Are we in the right room here? And he said, it's not a trick question, and there is a point to it. Who do you think finds more pearls, a pearl diver or a bus driver? And eventually someone sort of sheepishly put their hand up and said, a pearl diver would find more pearls. And he said, that's right. Now it's another question, why? Why would the pearl diver find more pearls? And everyone sort of, again as a group, sort of called out because they're looking for them, right?
Yeah.
And the sort of the metaphor, the message behind that story is a point where he was trying to make, is that if you come into this room thinking that you know everything, you're not going to learn anything, you've already run events before, you've already got all the knowledge you need, then you won't get anything out of the event. But if you come into this room thinking, I know a lot already, but I'm just here to find that small pearl of wisdom, that small snippet of information that's going to change things for me, help improve my results by 1, 10, 15%, whatever it is, then you'll get more out of the room. And again, it was a story, more out of the event, sorry, and it was a story that sort of hit me at the right time, because obviously, you know, sort of the mindset I was in, and it sort of changed my state immediately. And I thought, yeah, he's right, let me pay full attention, stay for the 3-day event, stay for the whole 3 days, take in everything I can, and just look for that small thing that we'll get. And actually the event was really good. I'd recommend going if you're interested in doing events, but I learned more than just a pearl of wisdom. There was lots of things I learned, but there was one thing in particular that actually, for the next event, we did actually sort of increase revenue and profits by 20% just by doing this one small change. It didn't actually cost us anything, didn't take any extra time, energy, effort, and it was something that you probably said in a 10-minute section of the whole 3 days. But the point behind that was, for you as a recruitment search firm owner, that ultimately the success you achieve, or as the case may be, don't achieve in your recruitment and search business, is down to the decisions you make, right? Every day you make decisions about what you do or don't do. And you can only make better decisions, or decisions that lead you towards where you want to go, in the direction you want to go in. The only way to make better decisions is to acquire more knowledge, more and better knowledge, right? The more you know about a certain situation, the better decisions you can make, and those decisions will lead to better outcomes for you, your business, and for your family. Terry, does that make sense?
Yeah. I read somewhere that decision making in of itself is a force that decides where you and your business are going to finish. And let me repeat that. Decision making is a force that decides where you and your business are going to finish. And it was interesting what you said there about better decisions. You're able to make better decisions with the more knowledge that you have, and you're absolutely right. And I think we've also got to acknowledge that you're not always going to make the right decisions, because life isn't like that. But most business owners, what's getting in the way is they don't have the balls, quite frankly, to make decisions at all, because they want to also make sure it is the right decisions. And one of the ways of ensuring that you're making the right decision, though you'll never be always right, is acquiring that knowledge. And that's really critical to your success. And every day of the week, Drew and I, we get emails, we speak to we speak to recruitment and search firm owners from around the world. And I think one of the things that, a common trait that I find, I don't know if you find this, Drew, is that those recruitment and search firm owners who at some level would say something like this: do you know, Terry, I've been in the business for a long time, but I acknowledge that I don't know it all. And if you want predictive of a business that's perhaps going to struggle, is when they say things like, I've been in business for 20 years, what can you teach me? Because that goes back to the pearl diver or the bus driver. Because if you're kind of going into it with that sort of attitude, what can you teach me? There isn't much hope for you, because you're not looking for those pearls that are going to help you. So I thought that analogy that you gave there, Drew, of the pearl diver versus a bus driver was very apt, and we come across it every day of the week, don't we?
Yeah, and again, just to be clear, like when we talk in terms of successful versus unsuccessful, and decisions. I'm not necessarily talking about the difference between success and failure. I'm also talking about the difference between those who perhaps get to multiple six figures, have successful businesses. I'm not saying that they're struggling by any means, but don't push to that next level.
You're listening to the Renegade Recruiter Unleashed podcast. For show notes, additional resources, and podcast updates, head over to www.therenegaderecruiter.com.
And then again, we don't just see it in struggling people. I probably actually see it more with our clients who are successful, right? And what you find is there's sort of two groups of client, right? Two groups of recruitment business owners. There's ones who sort of join our programs for, let's say, 2-3 years. They get to a certain point and they get the knowledge, and I think, well, okay, I've learned all of this stuff, I've got the results, so I'm good. I've got all I need. But then there's those who keep coming back and back for more. And again, we interviewed Alan Derry a few months ago on this podcast, right? And he's got sort of like what's his revenue?
It's a £15 million recruitment business. Here's a man who's financially independent, but interestingly wants to work with a coach and a mentor to ensure that he achieves even more. So
exactly that. So it's, again, sort of £15 million business, doing better than most people in recruitment in general, right? But one of the things that he's constantly doing is joining programs like ours, reading books, learning from other people to acquire better knowledge, because he knows that the more knowledge that he has, the better decisions he'll be able to make, and therefore the more successful he will be. So it's not just, I'd say it's not about the difference between sort of success and failure. It's about, do you want to reach your full potential? Do you want to take your business to its full potential? Do you want to go a level above wherever you are now? And if you do, then the only way to do that is to make different decisions. And the only way to make different decisions and make sure that they're right more often than wrong is by acquiring better knowledge. The more knowledge you have about a certain situation, the better decisions you can make, and therefore it's more likely to lead to a successful outcome or success in your business. Terry, does that make sense?
Yeah. And look, and I appreciate you maybe saying, oh, well, you're bound to say that, but it may be worth considering. If what you're doing now is giving you the results that you want, I mean, that's absolutely great, but if you're not getting the results that you want, you may want to look at the decisions that you've made in the past, because the results that you're getting right now are merely a reflection of the decisions that you've made in the past, even if it's down to what you're focusing on, because what you focus on is a decision. See, some people will focus on what they have no control over whatsoever. So they may focus on the economic climate, they may focus on the political situation, they may focus on whatever, but things that you've got no control over, quite frankly, doesn't serve you. The more successful recruitment and search promoters, they tend to focus on stuff that they've got control over and they can do something about it. And they know the difference between the two. So I think a good example, we're often saying to our clients that if you're working with clients who you don't enjoy working with, you're working with candidates you don't enjoy working with, don't work with them. And then some recruitment and search promoters say, well, I've got no choice in this, Terry. And I say, but yes, you have. Yeah. Because nobody's held a gun to your head and said you've got to work with those clients that perhaps don't respect or value what you do. And it's just acknowledging it's a decision that you're making. It's a decision that you're making to work with them. Because you can also make the same decision not to work with those lousy clients or lousy candidates. But it is your choice, and it's about the decision that you make. To repeat, decision making is a force that decides where you and your business will actually ultimately finish. And if you don't like where your business is right now, you have to make a decision about that. But here's the thing: great leaders make decisions. Great leaders make decisions.
So I sort of argue or contradict what you're saying there, because I think you're right. Great leaders do make decisions, but I also think failures make decisions as well, right? Everyone, every day, we're all making decisions about what we do or don't do. Like there's no one who doesn't make a decision, right? Even sort of sitting on the fence or delaying is a decision. You're deciding to delay. So I think everyone makes decisions. I think sort of like what I would say though is like, in order to make better decisions, you need to acquire better knowledge. There's a difference between sort of a successful recruitment search business owner and one that doesn't reach that level. It's not the skill, right? They're both in possession of the same skill. They're both in the same market, whatever it is. It's about the decisions they're making, and the reason that the more successful ones are able to make better decisions is because they acquire better knowledge. They have better knowledge about certain situations, therefore they're able to make informed decisions about what direction to go in. What you find with the ones who don't reach that level, and again, if you're listening to this, like a symptom of a recruitment search owner who is falling into this trap of not acquiring more knowledge is when you find that your business plateaus or stops growing or hits a certain level, right? Assuming you want it to grow. And again, I know some people don't, but assuming you want your business to grow and you've hit a point where it's not growing anymore, it's because the reason it happens is because the decisions that you've been making or made in the past have been the correct decisions to get you to this point, right? And if you keep repeating those patterns, you'll stay at this point. You need to move to the next level. It involves a shift in the way you think, in the way you behave, and the only way you get that shift. Okay, you can guess, you can take educated guesses, test new things, but that again is in a sense acquiring knowledge, because you learn what doesn't work. You've got knowledge about what doesn't work, and then you can move on. But no matter what it is, it's about acquiring more knowledge. You want to take your business to here and to here and to here. So for this, first you listen to audio, like from sort of the level you are now to higher and higher and higher. It's about learning, acquiring more knowledge, making different, better informed decisions about the direction that you're going in. And sometimes that might take a big shift, a completely different way of doing things, but sometimes it might just be a slight shift, a slight tweak in the way that you're currently running your business, currently doing things. So does that make sense?
Yeah, a couple of points there. I mean, you dropped so many pearls of wisdom there. So the first one about a slight change. I just thought, as you said that, it reminds me of a couple of clients that we're working with right now. A slight change could be doing something about your fees. You see, most recruitment and search firm owners that we speak to on a daily basis, they will tell us that they do a good job. They will tell us that the service they provide to the clients and candidates is above average, but their fees don't reflect this good service. And you can't be good and cheap. It just doesn't happen. And one way to get that breakthrough is making a slight change. And if your fees are at the low quartile, so to speak, you may want to look at that, because just a slight tweak of your fees can have a massive impact on your business once you make that decision. Again, it is about making that decision, because until you make that decision, you're going to remain as you are. And as Drew rightly said, making the decision not to do anything in and of itself is a decision. But you need to be aware of that. And I guess at the end of the day, to make any decision, you need to be crystal clear about what it is you want to achieve. Because if you've got that clarity about where it is your business is going and what it is you want to achieve, it will certainly help in making that decision. Does that make sense, Drew?
Yeah, it does. It makes perfect sense.
Yeah. So, I say, decision making is a force that decides where you finish. And so, if you want to, and this applies to any walk of life, but as Drew rightly said, businesses that reach a plateau, they're kind of peaked. And again, we speak to recruitment and search firms every day of the week, and their sales and their profit are very much what they were 3, 5, 10 years ago. Talking to a guy the other day, his sales are exactly the same as they were 17 years ago. His sales and profit are virtually remain the same over 17 years. And anybody that's set in business, that wasn't your ultimate aim to do something to remain about the same forever, ever and again. But that's down to some of the decisions that he's made, decisions that he's made along the way. That's due to not acquiring the right sort of knowledge that would help him or take him to the next level, as Drew rightly said. And the decision that you made in the past perhaps were good enough to get to a certain point. But as Drew said, if you want to get to the next level, it's probably going to involve you making better decisions. And the only way to make better decisions is to acquire more knowledge. Drew, anything to add to that?
No, but again, just to say that if you feel like you want to take your business to the next level, you want more revenue, higher profits, better clients, then you need to make better decisions. And one of the things that you should decide to do today is go to terryedwards.com www.recruitment.com/apply and speak to Terry or one of our team, and we can give you the knowledge that you need to take your business to the next level. Together we'll sit down, come up with a plan to help you get more clients, better clients, clients that pay you fees, clients that pay you when you want them to pay you, and we'll help you build a system to grow your business to the level you want it to be at. So that's terryedwards.com/apply.
Excellent. And just to reiterate on that, there's no cost or no obligation for this consultation, but you'll get to talk to one of our members of our team, or maybe even myself, and we'll look at exactly what's going on in your business, and we'll share with you some of the knowledge that you need to acquire to take your business to the next level. Thank you very much, Drew.
Thank you.
So until next time, guys, Drew, thank you very much. Until next time, take care, take action, and be relentless. Speak to you soon, real soon. Bye.